Now that we have an opportunity to walk through the idea of that pre-meeting workflow, things we want to do to prepare ourselves to go in front of the employer and present our plan designs. Now we want to introduce you to what we consider to be presentation best practices. Now, understand that these best practices we're going through are just recommended steps to get you started. The idea is now is where we're really going to talk about how things change now that our paper exhibits and reports and spreadsheets aren't going to be what really facilitates the communication, and how we're going to transfer from that paper-driven meeting to this real-time collaborative session. So when it comes to presentation best practices, these are based on our observations of other Dynamis agencies interacting with their employer clients. We had a chance to observe a lot of different Dynamis presentations, and we had some really successful ones that were engaging, that really reinforced all of the reasons that we purchased Dynamis, and some of them were a little rocky at first. All right, so this is really intended to help get you off to a start with kind of a checklist you can follow until these become more comfortable and it's second nature to go in front of the employer with this. All right, now by observing our clients, we really started to look at those successful presentations and really looked for what were the steps, what were the key things they did that really set them up for that successful presentation. And that's the basis of on how we generated these best practices. So if we take a look here at our best practices, you'll notice the high bullet points, coverage period overview. It's where we're going to introduce the reports, and we're going to start to show how we can set up the conversation using our coverage period overview. Then we're going to talk about reviewing current. The idea that just like looking at plan designs in Dynamis was new to us, we're under the assumption it's going to be new to our employers. So we really want to make sure that they understand how to look at things in Dynamis and their current plans, and reviewing how things operate in current is one of the most important steps in really getting a successful presentation. All right, then once we've reviewed current and everybody understands how to look at things, we're going to go ahead and look at the renewal and start to look at other plan groups. All right, then we're going to introduce the plan group comparison report. That's the report that's going to do the heavy lifting when we want to see more than one plan group at a time. And that's where we're going to introduce them to the plan group comparison report, is after we've had a chance to walk them through current and renewal in the dashboard. Now, really the key here is that we're going to be using the dashboard and the plan design screens in the same place we built them. That's obviously a place we're going to want to go for communication of these plan designs. We hope to get there because that's where we're making changes and doing budget goals and solving the budget and creating new copies of plan groups. We want to get to that dashboard level. But those plan designs in the dashboard, we're really only focused in on one at a time, and sometimes we need a more global perspective. So from a high level, as you start presenting to employers, you're going to start off using the dashboard and plan design screens to walk them through, but then use our reports to support that plan design information when needed. So it's really going to be a combination of dashboard and reports that we're going to use to get you started. Now, there also is some built-in presentation screens in Dynamis, and they totally change the way we're able to look at plan designs, where we move away from any kind of rows and columns, where we have visual depictions of our plan designs. And that's almost like a separate program within Dynamis. And while it's a very powerful way to present plan designs, we normally see as a learning curve our clients starting off with these best practices using the dashboard and the reports. And as you go in front of more employers and go through more of these presentations and become more comfortable with this, then we can come back and introduce those presentation screens to see how those are another tool that can really supplement that plan design conversation. All right, so let's go into our sample employer and see how these best practices play out with this sample employer presentation.